could have been a flame. Light up the skyline, watch it fall away. Yeah, it could have been the real thing. Could have been the real thing. And now we got ghosts to remind us both how we came so close. But I love the feeling you love leaving. I guess that we were just two kids with nothing else to do. A little money in our pockets and a hurry to say I love you. Swearing the days last forever, never thinking about the end. As long as we were together, we could make it through anything. But were we just two kids with nothing else to do? A little money in our pockets and a hurry to say I love you. Swore the days last forever, never thought about the end. As long as we were together, we could make it through anything. But I knew my heart's in trouble with you. You were always out the door. We set a spark in motion, could have been a flame. Light up the skyline, watch it fall away. Yeah, it could have been the real thing.
What time is it?
It's 11 a.m. It's time for Snooze Up Show.
And welcome to Snooze Up.
Welcome.
So today we are here with a guest,
Yeah.
Ludovic. Our guest, she's Bulgarian. Her name is Sibila Tasheva. Hi, Sibila.
Hi.
Sibiwa, probably.
Sibiwa.
But sorry for this, but I cannot really pronounce like Bulgarian names, but I will try my best.
You do it perfect.
Okay, so Sibila has traveled a lot in the past months.
Years.
So I know that you have been both in Europe and also outside Europe. You have traveled a lot. So how was this experience? Was it good?
It was more than good. I always dreamed of traveling. And I kind of started when I was 18. I moved to Germany. It was not for traveling, it was for studying there. But it was still going abroad and finding a new world. So I spent since then more or less 18 years. So I lived in Germany for 18 years, and at that time, the first few years, I traveled a lot in Europe. Mm-hmm. I've been in the most European countries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I think I was 23 or 24. When I went first time abroad, like outside of Europe, I went with my best friend Maria to Asia, to Thailand.
Oh.
And this was an unbelievable experience. It really changed my world.
Your life somehow.
Yeah, totally. I find out there are jungles, and this is a completely different world. It's the world I knew. Different people, different lifestyle.
Different cultures also.
Totally different foods and everything so different than everything I knew in Europe. And it made me curious about the whole world. And this was even more the wish to travel more and to find more different places. And in the next few years, I got the chance to go to South America, Central America, and Asia again.
We will. I think we will gonna talk in detail about this in a while. We're gonna make an interview with her because I think it's gonna be really interesting, and also for me that I traveled just in Europe. Unfortunately, it's gonna be interesting. So, for now, let's put a song. Anima, Goodbye Overseas. We are broadcasting royalty-free music today because we are live on Facebook. And after that, we're gonna come back with our guest, and I know that Ludovic also has so many questions
Yeah,
for
we
her.
have some question, yeah.
Okay, so enjoy Goodbye Overseas.
Long time ago, his turning ended when he got 13. He never thought his mom and dad would leave behind the 80. Until a road hit on the plane, then across the Atlantic Ocean. Never got to get a taste or realm of his dreams. Don't you believe in what he's been through before? There is nothing that he wouldn't want more. Make it back before you realize what you'll be missing. Bring yourself back to breathe the air you once have breathed before. The air you once have breathed before. 54 months is the longest time he stood there on board. If only longer would his first dream out of thank the Lord. Wanted to rocket on the plane and across the Atlantic Ocean. Never got to get a taste or realm of his dreams. Make it back before you realize what you'll be missing. Bring yourself back to breathe the air you once have breathed before. You send away your goodbyes. Take a good long look at the sun. What do you know? We found a thing across the pages, don't you see? I won't forget that he sent his goodbyes. Before you send away your goodbyes, take a good long look at the sun. What do you know? We found a thing across the pages, don't you see? I won't forget that he said his goodbyes.
And welcome back to Snooze Up.
Welcome back.
As we said, we are with a special guest today, Sibila Tasheva. Sibila Tasheva. I will try to pronounce it in Bulgarian. Okay, so I have some questions for you. First question, which countries did you travel the most? I mean, outside Europe.
I have been in Thailand, in Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Colombia twice.
Colombia twice.
Yeah. Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar.
Okay, so a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Yes, and so you traveled in a lot of country, but do you have like a best country, like a favorite one? Or maybe not only one, maybe more than one?
It's really hard. It's a really hard question. I'm so lucky that most of the not almost each country I have traveled was really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But if I really have to choose one where I can always go back, this would be Colombia.
Colombia?
Yeah.
Like the life there is very nice, or the people also maybe?
Colombia, I think the lifestyle and the people, they're very friendly and very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And the food is not as good as the food in Asia. For example, in
Okay.
Thailand, the food was amazing, or in Vietnam. But the people in Asia, they're more, how to say it?
Close?
Like in the evening, if you go outside somewhere in Colombia, everybody would dance salsa or be outside and have party and enjoy
Okay.
life. And in Asia, it's more quiet. People are more quiet somehow.
Okay.
They don't enjoy life at that way as they do in South America.
Also me about Colombia, like I mean, Colombia is like famous for like the drug traffic and this kind of thing. So I don't know you've been there. So did you feel this like the mafia or the drug in
You do feel that you are in a country with big problems like this. You meet. You don't really meet. For example, I had this one situation in a taxi. The taxi driver, I wanted him to drive me to a museum, and he started to talk about the other tourists, like, yeah, these American tourists, and he doesn't like them. And I was so surprised, and I asked, but why? And he said, yeah, they're coming here only for the drugs because we have cheap drugs. And I was so
okay.
surprised because for me it was always, I wanted to go to the museum and I was so...
not to go to buy drugs.
So it was for me the first time I realized there are really people going for drugs in Colombia. And
That is not traveling.
And it's not traveling, but that's why some Colombians do have bad opinion about the tourist. So you do meet this kind of situation.
Okay.
All right. So apart from Colombia, have you got another favorite country? Like if you had to put aside Colombia.
Yeah, the next one would be Myanmar, the ex-Burma. It's amazing country. It's really amazing.
Why? Because of nature, people?
I think the very big difference is that Myanmar, it was for many, many years closed for tourists or for the outside world because they had a military government. And only the last few years, I think 3-4 years, you're allowed as a foreigner to go in this country. So the people, they are very traditional. They don't use normal clothes, for example. They dress themselves with the traditional clothes.
All of them?
All of them, for example.
Wow.
Nice.
Everybody, like you would never see jeans there. And the men, they wear rocks, like
Skirts?
yeah, like long skirts. The women as well. And everybody's very traditional. And they're very happy when they see foreigners. They always come to you and they want to take picture of you and them together. So it's you feel totally special, like a foreigner in this country. They are really very, very friendly to you. I have never seen something like this before.
It's very nice. Very nice.
And how is the relationship with music? Did you find like something different? Like, do they have a peculiar relationship with music, these countries that we don't know so much, let's say, because I don't know these countries that much.
In Myanmar, I don't remember music to be so much part of the life there, at least what I saw. But in Colombia, you could listen salsa everywhere. Like if you drive by bus from one city to the next one, the bus driver will always listen to salsa music very loud. And the person who is sitting next to you, like old lady, she would always sing these salsa songs.
Oh my
and
God.
some other people in the bus, they're also singing the salsa songs. Everybody knows them and they're just singing them loud. This is
Wow.
what I don't know from Europe.
Yeah. I think that, there is a big difference probably in many things, but that's what makes countries peculiar somehow, traveling around peculiar, the fact that they are so different and I think that you take something from every country somehow, no?
I think so too, yeah. I think this is the point of traveling, to just see how different
To enrich
people are.
yourself also
exactly.
somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, so after this very interesting conversation, I would say to put a song. The song is Girls Like You. Actually, I don't know this song, to be honest, but I will put it because it sounds nice. And we're going to come back in a while, so enjoy.
She was done up in leather and breathing a fire, yeah. She was out on the floor, taking everyone higher, yeah. She said, hey baby, don't you know that I'm a dancer? She said, hey baby, I'm the question to your answer. Girls like you, I should just run home, but I never do. Oh, because of things you do make me wanna run from you, and I never do. My feet shook and I couldn't think over the bass. I thought, boy, I gotta get myself out of this place. never do. Oh, because the things you do make me wanna run from you. And I never do.
So welcome back. So we know you travel a lot, but how did you travel? Like by which way, plane or how did you travel?
Usually, I always buy a ticket to the country I want to go. For example, I bought ticket to Cancun in Mexico, and then I booked a hostel for the first night, and I bought a travel guide like Lonely Planet, and nothing else. And then I had a flight back 1 month later or 2 months later.
Okay.
And I didn't plan anything, so I traveled just. I always ask people in the hostel or some people from the country in Mexico, the Mexicans, which are the nicest places to go, what should be worth to be seen, and then I decide where to go and what to see, and I use every kind of bus, or I usually take a bus to go from place to place.
Okay.
Sometimes I did even a horse riding, or once I got to know a new friend in Colombia, and we used his motorbike. I did also I used some bicycle or a boat. So everything what you can use.
Okay,
I
like
use.
every which way you can use. So
Yeah.
when you go to a country, you plan nothing. You just buy a ticket. You go to this
Exactly.
country, and after you just see.
Yeah, and I started to travel. I don't like to plan so much, so I want to see that. I want to be more spontaneous.
Yeah.
And when you travel, you meet some people, and then sometimes I want to join them, and we go together to some place.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't. So it's more free kind of traveling.
Yeah.
So let's say that basically there is not much of a planning of a preparation.
Exactly, there is nothing like preparation in my kind of traveling. Usually, I buy this guidebook, and I start to read it in the plane to Colombia, for example. You have like 10 hours flight, and during the flight, I start to read about the country, and I have maybe some idea what I want to see. For example, I'm very interested about Indians in South America, or like more traditional villages in Asia. So I
More
think
traditional stuff than
yeah. So I think this would be maybe interesting, but I don't plan to go. I don't play anything when I'm there in the country. I start to ask the people, "Have you been there? What do you like? What do you recommend?" And that's
you
how
go with the flow.
Exactly, that's how I find my way. Yeah.
All right. So I was thinking that if there is not like this big preparation, but what about when you are in the country? You still go with the flow. You meet people then, and you decide where to go. If you want to go with some person to discover something new, or you have some idea what to see, where to go, how to do it. Like once you are in the country, not before. Not the
Yeah, but
plan.
this is everything what I said is once when I'm in country, not before. So once
Okay.
I'm in the country, I ask people and then tell me, and then I decide if I want to go there or not. So this is everything not abroad. This is everything what happens in the country itself when I'm there. I don't do any preparation when I'm in Bulgaria or in Germany.
That's the best thing, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, to plan, like for example, to take a plane, this kind of stuff. To plan like the practical things that you cannot otherwise do it. You cannot just go to the airport and take a plane, whichever plane. But it's nice to also go with the flow for the most.
In the
You
most
take most, no?
in the most countries you don't really need to plan so much. In Colombia, for example, I would decided today that I want to take a plane tomorrow and go to Cartagena, and there is a plane on the next day. So I buy the ticket 1 day in advance, and on the next day I'm flying.
Okay.
This is how it works.
How long did let's say you're traveling abroad outside Europe? I mean, last.
Yeah, I try to to stay as long as possible, but it's never enough and always too short. For example, I was in Central America for 5 weeks in total. In Colombia, I was 2 months, and I liked it so much then that half a year later, I went once again to Colombia for 1 more month exactly. And in Asia, I was almost 2 months in the 4 countries.
And what were you doing before doing these big travels?
I was living in Germany, studying there, then working there, and before that I did like small trips in Europe. I went to like most of the European countries: Italy, Spain, France, Sweden, England, Austria, so of course.
Okay, so I guess it's gonna be. It was pretty different somehow, I guess.
It was very different. The kind of traveling was also very different. It wasn't so free. You have to book more in advance, everything, like
In
the
Europe.
hotels. Yeah, in Europe. It was much more expensive also. And you meet usually more Europeans, like a lot of Germans or, yeah, French people sometimes. It's more cultural traveling, kind of, or it's different. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks nice. It sounds nice as well.
Yeah, it's definitely nice, but not so exotic like the countries outside of Europe for me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna put two songs now, and and afterwards we're gonna come back for some more question to our guest. So now it's the time for Rusty Tea Maker's Mirror, and afterwards Odd Fiction, Truly Dark. So like Ludovic, Truly Dark.
I'm not dark.
So enjoy. See you in a while.
But you'll know it soon if this afternoon. And I don't know what's right and what's wrong, and I'll sing you my song. Come to the mirror, touch yourself, baby. Come to the mirror, touch yourself. Oh yeah. I wanna make you sweat until you dread. I wanna make you love it. I wanna make you roll by the rock and roll. I wanna make it with your soul. I wanna make you sweat until you dead. I wanna make it in your bed. I wanna make you roll by the rock and roll. I wanna make it with your soul. Come to the mirror, touch yourself, baby. Come to the mirror, touch yourself. Break fucking mirror, kill yourself, yeah, baby. Break fucking mirror, kill yourself. It's not the night, it's in between that and the day are wrenched apart. The knives are out, and so it seems the lightest souls are truly dark. Dark is all around me. I feel it everywhere. From every started heartbeat to every upraised hair. What you know isn't true. You know what you know isn't true. See the night as it falls, come the day clean too. You know what you know isn't true.
About traveling, many people think that it's very expensive.
Yeah, this is true.
And I want to say I don't think that it's really very expensive. I think it's a question of what are your priorities. I find out that for me it's cheaper to be abroad or to travel in some countries like in Colombia or in Asia than to live in Munich.
Mm-hmm.
Like the costs I have for renting an apartment or living there, they're higher than the costs I have if I buy a flight and if I live in country which is cheaper. and there are many ways to travel very cheap. I always sleep, for example, in hostels.
Uh-huh.
There are like 8 bedrooms, and you always spend your time with other people. Like there are many people in one room, and this is very cheap. Usually, I try to have new friends there and stay sometimes in their place, which is also very cheap. I met many people who used to work in the hostel, and they
yeah,
don't
so-
pay anything for living there. They work like 2 hours a day, and the rest of the day they have free time, but they don't have to pay for food and for sleeping there.
Okay.
So if you really want to travel, you find a lot of ways. It's very cheap to travel by bus in some countries. So maybe if you travel in the United States or in Australia, it's expensive. But if you go to Colombia or
Yeah,
Vietnam,
that's what I mean.
it's
Like,
really cheap.
what I mean is like that it also depends on the country you are
Exactly.
visiting.
Yeah, there are always like very cheap countries for us, for Europeans. It's really much cheaper there. So it's you don't really need so much money there. You need less than the money you need in Italy or France or Germany for living.
I agree with this. The only thing I think that probably to travel. What many people mean is not that it's not cheap to travel in this country. It's not cheap to get maybe a plane, this kind of stuff. From Europe to some places, it's not cheap. That's what they mean. Not traveling in the place, because I
Yeah.
know that I also use couch surfing sometimes. I also stayed in many hotels, but in many hostels. Sorry, hotel. I cannot really afford a
Yeah.
hotel. But I mean that probably what they mean is that it's the fact of going, of taking a plane, that maybe sometimes it's too much the cost of the plane. It's
Yeah,
not
but
the
for me,
travel.
this what I was saying. The discountings, it was inclusive the flight.
Okay.
Even with the flight, it was cheaper than 1 month living in Germany. And I had often the luck to find very cheap flights. For example, the first time I went to Thailand, it was like 400 euros. And the last time I went to Colombia, I paid 500 euros for the flight, which is, if you fly from Munich to Sofia, usually sometimes you pay 350 euros. So the difference is not so big. You can always look for cheaper flights. You have to be very lucky to find cheap flights, but if you really go for it and if you really want to travel, you find your ways, I think.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You need I mean, the way, of course, and also like some passion to travel.
Yeah,
Probably. All right. So Ludovic, I know that you have some questions for Sibila.
Yeah. So we know that the best country you went was Colombia, but did you have like best memories? Not maybe in Colombia, I think, but maybe in another country, you have the best memories.
That's another hard question. I have so many great memories, but maybe one which is, I always think about it. It was a funny story in Guatemala.
Uh-huh.
I was in a small village somewhere in the mountains, close to a lake, a very beautiful lake. And it was in the afternoon. I was staying in my hammock, like hanging out and enjoying the life. And a Guatemalan guy came to me, and I started to talk with him because I always start to have conversation with the people. So we talked in Spanish. And he told me on the next day there is a trip with horses, like horse riding.
Okay.
You go around this lake and it's very safe. I told him, but I have never used, I don't know how to ride a horse. You don't need this, it's very easy, tranquila. And then I thought, okay, then I'll come. And we were a group of maybe 10 or 12 people, most of them Israelis. And I think we were 12 people, and 11 of them, they were very good with horse riding. So they wanted to be very fast, and they were riding like crazy. And the one person who couldn't ride at all, it was just me. Okay. We had 3 guides, and two of them, they were all the time with the Israeli people who were very good with riding. The one was like 20 meters behind with me, staying all the time.
Okay.
But at some point, they wanted to go somewhere where they needed my guides as well. And he told me, yeah, if you want, you can come with us, but maybe it's safer for you if you go back. And I was so, okay, I will go back. And he told me, okay, you just go back, you know the way. And I was like, okay. And then I had the horse name was Mary.
Mary.
And and I had to go back to the place
Like
by
alone?
Mary, like alone.
Okay.
And then I suddenly remembered, but I found maybe it's not so safe going alone by horse, which you cannot even ride. And then,
Oh my God,
but
this
I
is a
didn't-
really adventure.
and it was such a sunny and nice day. It was very sunny and very beautiful, with gorgeous view to the lake. You could see the nature. And I was like riding Mary, and Mary, she was very lazy, so she wanted to stop all the time to have some food. And we met some people, like some men with such a big, how do I say it, like to cut.
Stick.
To cut?
No, they're not stick. It's from metal. Like yeah, you can kill somebody with something like this. And at the first moment,
Machetes?
yeah, machete, machetes,
okay.
yeah. And I was, oh God, what are they doing? And then they were so, buenos dias. So they were very friendly. And at some point, I started to think, but what is if Mary is not? Do Mary knows where is my hostel?
Oh my God.
And of course, she didn't know where is my hostel.
Yeah.
So she just started to go to some place, and I hope hopefully she knows where is. Hopefully, her place is close to my hostel and in the same
Yeah.
village, and not in some other village.
Okay.
And luckily, it was in the same village, so it was just like 5 minutes away from my hostel. But it was really kind of scary situation.
Yeah.
But at the end, all the people were very friendly. Mary found her place.
She
Found her way.
Yeah, I had to go out and find then my hostel.
Well, but at least she brought you in a place.
Exactly,
which
very
is-
safe, and everything was safe. at
Good
the
job,
end.
Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a really funny
Yeah, it
thing,
was
and
very
also
funny story.
quite of adventure.
Yeah.
And do you have any worst? Like any? No, this was the worst one, or the
No, the best.
worst.
No, this one actually it was the worst, but
It was a good
It turned
one.
out
kept-
that it was the
It
best.
was the best.
And the very best, which was the very best memory you had?
There, when I closed the eyes, there are like so beautiful places I saw and so nice people I met, like sunsets with great people, a lot of interesting discussions with very interesting people. When you travel alone and when you're far away and when you meet some people, you usually start a very interesting conversation about life, and it's very, very nice time spending with new friends. So these are the memories I have. There are so many, so it's not only one. There are like many different.
Yeah, probably many memories in many different places. So you cannot
Exactly.
really choose. And there was something like a turning point where you said, okay, now that's it, I'm gonna travel. Did you ever had this moment like you really wanted to, but you didn't do it before? I mean, you did it like in Europe, but then at some point you were like, okay, now that's it, I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
everything and gonna travel.
Yeah,
Did you
I-
have this moment?
I had this when I was in Thailand the first time with my friend. Then I found out, okay, I want to do it more and more. But I was afraid to do it alone, and I always needed somebody else to do it with me. But
Yeah.
it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to find people who have the time and the money. And at some point I thought, okay, I'm doing it alone. So this was maybe the first time I thought, okay, I'm brave enough. I will do it alone by myself. And I don't care if anybody else,
Wants
if
to
nobody
join.
else doesn't
You
have the
just go.
time, I'll go. And
You know, I have the same experience, of course, in Europe up to now. But you know why I started like to travel alone, and also like I moved to the UK alone. I didn't even know Bristol. Just moved there because any of my friends really wanted to join. They were always like making up excuses for everything. So I was like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
yeah,
alone. That's it. So I just started, and you know, if people want to join, I'm happy.
yeah.
If they don't, okay, we'll go alone. I will discover things by myself, and that's it.
And it's so nice to find out it's okay to be alone because you meet some other new friends. So it's not a reason not to go somewhere only because you're by yourself.
Yeah, it's true. And it's not, sometimes you have all those things, it's gonna be dangerous, it's gonna be bad, what am I gonna do alone? But most of the time it's not like that, actually. You just walk, you discover things, you meet people in the hostels,
Exactly.
and then
Yeah,
you
exactly.
exchange contacts, and then you are gonna meet them again another time, and it's nice. It's really,
Yeah. I had the same experience. Absolutely.
yeah, it's nice. Okay, so now let's put two songs. So there is this song which is naughty for Locke. I hope it's not too naughty.
No.
Eto kak. I don't know. But it sounds nice. It sounds kind of rocky, so I like rock, I hope that you like it as well. And after there is ska brot, no ska today.
No, ska.
So just if you want to listen to ska, no ska today. Okay, enjoy and see you in a while.
Валът се върти, ще падне по люлея, леглото по вълни, в Омир Одисея. Спуснал съм платната, краката ми са готва, тък му ми олекне и айде пак се почва. За пияния ми сън, предполагам всеки знае, или все си жаден, или все ти се пикае. Но сутринта ме будят самоняк и шамари, стаята ми в Босна, главата ми е мале. Как съм се напил, как съм се прибрал, уж легена съм приготвил, а килимът е тотал. Как съм се събул, как съм оцелял, коленете ми в рани, а ръцете ми в кал. Клин избива и името ми е ясно, в бар за жива бира, в отпуска съм класно, сводни пистолети в парка, завист в децата, общинската охрана вика тъпчете тревата. Щом захвана тая тема и аз отивам да си взема, казах извинете и оправих супер джема. Понеделник втора смяна, часовника тик-така, 3 тръпки за педая, времето да чака. Как съм се убил, но как съм оцелял, как съм ви изложил, а после съм се смял. Как съм се напил, кога съм се прибрал, коленете ми в рани, а ръцете ми в кал. Как съм се напил, как съм се прибрал, как съм ви изложил, а после съм се смял. Как съм се убил, но как съм оцелял, коленете ми в рани, а ръцете ми в кал.
Radio Evolution use royalty-free music from jamendo.com.
she said, no scar today, I didn't know just what to say. The time had come to become a man. Being one of them doesn't suit my plan. It all started too soon. I wasn't ready for this kind of a grown-up world, where you stop to work for your life, start to live for your work. What is life if you can't smile about the small things anymore? Where are you heading when you forgot how to reach out for the stars? Don't make the old mistake. Play all out by rules you didn't make. There's no need to worry if I do it my own way. It started some weeks ago, till then everything seemed to run by itself. No thoughts on the next steps, but suddenly everything changed. Now I'm solely irresponsible, and everyone keeps telling me that I can't go on like this. What is life if you can't smile about the small things anymore? Where are you heading when you forgot how to reach out for the stars? Don't make the old mistake. Play all out by rules you didn't make. There's no need to worry if I do it my own way. With every action that I do, with every choice that I make, with every way I step onto, I'll define the man I'll be. And I will do it my own way. When she said, no scar today, I didn't know what to say. The time had come to become a man. Being one of them doesn't suit my plan. It all started to suit. Wasn't ready for this kind of a grown-up world, where you stop to work for your life, start to live for your work.
And welcome back to Snooze Up. We are here with our guest Sibila Tasheva, and now we're gonna talk about Germany. How was living in Germany?
It was really a culture shock at the beginning. I was pretty young. I was 18 when I went to Germany. And in Bulgaria, you get to know new people very easily. You make new friends very easily. And it was very different in Germany. So it took me a while to find new friends, to start to feel comfortable in the country. The Germans, they are really different than the Bulgarians. It's difficult to say what kind exactly, but it was hard when you don't have any friends or any family. Or,
I totally get you.
yeah, it was hard.
Totally.
But at some point, I started to get used to the life there. And I met wonderful people in the student town I used to live. There were students from everywhere. So I had like Swedish friends, French friends, and I started to have like a very nice student life. And this was maybe the first time I started really to enjoy my life in Germany. And
So you said you studied there. You were studying.
yeah, I was student in Munich.
Okay, so where was it like a Erasmus? No.
No,
It was too
I
early
did.
maybe for Erasmus.
It was at that time. Bulgaria was not in the European Union, so you couldn't do any Erasmus.
Oh, that's
It was
true.
the full study, so I did the whole student program, like my whole studies.
Okay, so there was like a kind of a cultural shock.
It was, and it was in the end of the 90s, and at that time Bulgaria was very different than it is tonight. Today, we didn't have, for example, any big shops like Lidl or like a Penny. We didn't have metro, and it was for me the first time in Germany when I went to a supermarket and I wanted to buy some fruits, and I had to go to this place where you have to do it by yourself to find out how much
Yeah,
it
the
is.
automatic
The automatic, I don't know how
food.
to...
I don't remember. I remember the name in this moment.
But I was so surprised that there were so many little things which were different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big change. And maybe I have a question. Like in Germany, did you went to the Oktoberfest?
Of course.
course.
I'm very big fan of Oktoberfest. But it took me a while. I think the first time I went to Oktoberfest, it was in my third year living in Germany.
Uh-huh.
And nowadays I do have the dirndl. This is the special dress
Okay.
for the German girls. And every year at least 3-4 times
Okay.
in Oktoberfest.
I know like we can go as a volunteer there, and maybe, I don't know, I want to go as a volunteer in Oktoberfest. So, I mean, how is like the ambience inside the Oktoberfest? Is it like very friendly, or
Environment.
the environment?
It's wonderful. It's very friendly, but you have to be open for this kind of things. There are a lot of drunk people everywhere, so almost everybody is drunk,
Okay.
and you have to be able to deal with it.
Okay,
And
yeah.
the atmosphere is very nice. Like all the Germans, they're not like you can imagine. The Germans are cold. They don't dance. Nothing like this. Everybody is dancing on the table and singing, and everybody is laughing and in a very good mood.
Okay.
It's really very, very nice atmosphere there.
It sounds very amazing, yeah.
And almost everybody is in a traditional clothes.
Yeah.
Even if I met some girls, they came from New York, they were American. They rent like these dresses, the German dresses, in the airport. So they came to Oktoberfest for a weekend with the German dresses. And the end of the weekend, they went back to New York.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Like really hip hopping for the
They
party.
just come for the
Just for the 3 days, yeah. And they looked like Germans because they had the
Yeah.
dress, the dirndl dress.
Did you travel a lot in Germany? Like around Germany?
Yeah, I did. It was mostly because I visited some friends or I wanted to go to some city. There are still some cities I haven't been there, but I have been in the most cities, yes. I traveled a lot. And living in Munich, you have the advantage that it's very central. So you're very close to Italy,
To the borders?
yeah, or to Austria for skiing. Every year we went to ski in Austria, or for climbing as well.
Do you have a favorite country in Europe instead?
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria?
Bulgaria.
And
But I
apart from
like
Bulgaria?
Spain a lot. Yeah.
Spain.
Spain is my favorite country maybe.
Why? Do you have any reason for this?
I like the language, and because it's warm and people are more relaxed and they're friendly.
Yeah, they're
I
quite
like the
chill.
food.
Spanish people, it's true.
It's more this easygoing lifestyle that you have in Bulgaria. You have it there as well. And the good weather, the sunny weather. I miss this. Maybe this is one of the things I missed most in Germany. Sunny weather.
Yeah. I totally get you because, when I was living abroad, it was like this basically. In the UK, it's even worse, the weather.
I'm not sure if it's worse than the German weather.
It's
but
quite cloudy, and but whatever. I mean, everything is an experience, and I also enjoyed staying there. But for me, also there was this big cultural shock You know, coming from Italy, I'm from the south, so people are
really?
even
Okay.
warmer.
That's
And
really
you know,
nice.
just going there, and it was so hard, like to make friends from the country. You know, this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It was really hard for me, and but at the same time, I met so many foreigners as well. You know, that kind of
Yeah,
we went like
exactly.
we went hiking in the mountains and this kind of stuff. So in the end, it was a good experience. And what I learned about from this is that most of the times, you know, people in the country like Germany or the UK, they look kind of cold, but also sometimes they are maybe shy. They need time to open themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's different, you know, different cultures. But at the end, I think you learn and you take something.
And once you're a friend, it's really like very deep friendship. It's really a very good friendship you have.
Yeah,
But it's
true.
interesting that we had the same experience. For me, it was also the beginning. Most of all of my friends were foreigners at the beginning, and it took some years to get more German friends. And now I have a lot of German friends, and my best friends are from Germany. I feel very German nowadays, especially here in Bulgaria.
You feel German in Bulgaria?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm coming on
nice.
time mostly, and I'm very okay. We have to work. We have to do this and this and this. Let's work. And people here are much more relaxed and
So, you know, I have this last question before putting, you know, the last songs. Do you feel like, you know, we were talking about the fact that you feel like kind of German in Bulgarian somehow, and I kind of get you. You kind of get so many inputs from the outside that you really become like a different person, like you don't feel like focused in a country somehow. Do you have this feeling?
yeah. Sometimes I do. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I feel also like I do something and it's strange for the people, but I don't realize why it's strange.
For the
I don't know.
Bulgarian people.
Yeah, for Bulgaria, I do or I ask something and everybody's looking strange at me. And I also, did I ask something wrong or
Yeah.
what happened now? And for me, it's very normal and regular, but yeah.
For years, the thing changed.
So, Ludo, do you have a last question?
Maybe yes, like about like what you said, like because now it's like a long time you're not in Bulgaria, but you just come back. And how did you feel not Bulgaria? Like is changed for you, or is it like you come back in your country, or like like you say you feel like German in Bulgaria? So how is the change like for you who are from Bulgaria and travel and come back? Or how do you feel the change?
There are like just the infrastructure and the buildings. A lot of things are getting better. They were much they were worse back in the 90s. And people, I don't know, people maybe I don't know if the people changed so much or if I changed so much. So
Maybe the both.
maybe both. Here many things I think people are very traditional and conservative. Now these arguments about Istanbul about the
Istanbul Convention.
like this for me, but how could you think like this? It's so yeah, I'm very open-minded in very kind of things.
We talked about like this thing like some weeks ago. About the Istanbul Convention.
In our show, we talk about the Istanbul Convention, and Ludo was very interested about this. So
Yeah.
I read-
you
I read
touched
all
the right point.
I read all the convention for know like about what story, so I read like the 37 page.
Oh
of this-
God.
yeah, because I was like really interested about these things, and so yeah.
And here, for example, the opinion about gypsies or about black people. So people here are much more conservative than the Germans are allowed to be, and this is interesting to see how different people are.
Yeah,
here.
like the same continent, like we are Germany and we are from Europe, but like it's totally different. It's like I don't know what to say. Like Bulgaria is like more in Balkan
Yeah.
feelings,
Yeah, totally.
and Germany like more modern and capitalism maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I would say let's put a song now and we come back for the last part of our show.
Final greetings.
Okay, so Jamie Rumley, walk on, enjoy, and see you in a couple of minutes.
All I asked for was a little time and space. You told me you would, but somehow your words got lost along the way. say I'm not the person you expected me to be, expected me to be. I'm not gonna turn around just 'cause you want me to. I'm not gonna turn around. I'm gonna just walk on, leaving this craziness behind. Just walk on, try to get a hold of my life. Just walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on. To all the friends I love, I'm sorry I never say goodbye. To all the friends I love, I'm sorry I never say goodbye. But I gotta just walk on, leaving this craziness behind. Just walk on, try to get a hold of my life. Just walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on, yeah. To all the friends I love, I'm sorry I never say goodbye. To all the friends I love, I'm sorry I never say goodbye.
Welcome back. Never say goodbye.
Never say goodbye.
Okay, so we're here for the last part of our show. And I have one last question. Do you plan of doing other traveling around?
Oh yeah, I hope so. So this year I'm planning to travel a lot in Bulgaria, but for the next year, South America is always in my dream. I would love to go there once again, but maybe I'll go to Australia. I have very good friends of mine who are inviting me for many years, and maybe next
Yeah,
year.
then
Next year's time.
then you have a way. So you are getting to know better your country now after all this traveling. No? Like you're
Yeah,
traveling
yeah.
around Bulgaria, so getting to know better your
Yeah.
country now.
I've been traveling in Bulgaria as well a lot, but now it's always, you have always new places you can find out. And now I'm kind of writing a book about Bulgaria.
Ah,
Yeah,
you
so
see, interesting.
This is more like not only traveling, but also trying to find out how is the country, to understand Bulgaria.
Yeah, to understand a bit more Bulgaria.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you feel rooted somehow to Bulgaria. You feel like you are open to other countries and other experiences, but you also feel rooted.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, it's really nice. All right, it was a pleasure for us to have you here.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure for me to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You
you.
can come back whenever you want. So just text us and we can talk about it. And if anyone wants to be our guest, just text me or Ludovic or text or Red Evolution, and we're gonna answer you. And even if you travel or if you are I don't know bringing your music around, if you are a musician, just text us and we're open to everyone, and we can make interviews here, and we're gonna have a good time. Okay, thank you so much, Sibila.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we're gonna see you tomorrow at 11 for our lessons. No, tomorrow is Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Okay, for Snooze Up. Thanks to all of our listeners, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Radio Evolution is supported by Erasmus Plus program of the European Union.